Good evening. We are live in our studios on Caraba Avenue. You're watching the QTV Nightly News, and I'm Jacqueline Collier. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. The Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, Ibrahim Asila, has embarked on a 5-day nationwide road inspection tour beginning in the North Bank region. And among the places visited by the minister along the 15.14-kilometer Albreda to Fas Omar Saho Road, a crucial section of the larger Nyomi Hakalang Road project, residents are witnessing long-awaited progress after decades of poor infrastructure. As China announces a sweeping tariff removal for 53 African nations, Gambia's trade minister comments on how the new policy is creating fresh opportunities for African exports, including from the Gambia. At the recent convergence to validate the Gambia's first draft of a national land policy, the Minister of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, Honorable Ahmad Nkeba, emphasized the crucial importance of land ownership rights. And in some exciting sports news, plans are afoot for the Gambia to finally have a professional football league. Those were the headlines, now the news in detail. Many thanks for joining us. The Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, Ibrahim Asila, has embarked on a 5-day nationwide road inspection tour beginning in the North Bank region. Accompanied by officials from the Ministry and the National Roads Authority, NRA, the tour is to evaluate the progress of critical road projects across the Gambia. Usman Jata reports from the North Bank region.
With major road infrastructure projects underway nationwide, Minister Ibrahim Asila is taking a hands-on approach to ensure quality and timely delivery. His 5-day tour aims to assess progress, structural integrity, and the overall impact of roads on national development. The tour kicked off with a visit to the 84.5-kilometer Nyomi Hakalang Road, a government-funded project now nearing completion. It is divided into 3 segments: Bunyado to Kuntaya, Albreda to Fas Omar Chaho, and Bafuloto to Bangali. Minister Silla expressed satisfaction with the project's progress.
And we can say with satisfaction that we are profoundly happy with the progress of work on the Hakalang Loop. Currently, almost all works are completed. In the central Badibu, we are very hopeful that with the progress of work, at least this complete sealing of first layer of the double surface should be completed, by 2nd week of July or 3rd week of July. If the rains are not very heavy, the second layer will be laid. If not, then, we will allow for the rains to subside.
Previously, a dust and uneven path, the Nyomi Hakalang Road is now significantly improving accessibility and quality of life for thousands in the North Bank region. The minister then inspected the Bani Salikanyen Jabakunda Loop road project in the Badibu area. This 17-kilometer road, contracted to Gambian-owned Bajam Enterprise Limited, is nearing completion of its base layer, with sealing set to begin shortly. Local residents, including Suleiman Jallo and Chief Alaji Jan, shared their appreciation and described the hardships they previously faced. Before, traveling was a major challenge. We had to wake up very early, and once it rained, the road was impassable. Now, we are truly grateful for this improvement. Back then, after riding from Jabakunda to Salikenye, you would be covered in dust. Now, we thank God for the change. Major road works in NBR have been completed. The Bunyado Kuntaya 55.7 kilometer and the Bangali Bafuloto, which is 13.71 kilometer road sections, have both achieved 100% completion across all construction phases. Deputy Governor Dembo Samate urged NBR residents to support government development initiatives stressing the importance of community cooperation. Over the next few days, the minister's tour will continue through the Central River, Upper River, Lower River regions and conclude in the Kanifing municipality. The team aims to ensure accountability and continued progress on key national infrastructure projects. Osman Jata, reporting for QTV News.
Along the 15.14-kilometer Albreda to Fas Omar Saho Road, a crucial section of the larger Nyomi Hakalang Road project, residents are witnessing long-awaited progress after decades of poor infrastructure. Once plagued by inaccessibility, the area now sees light at the end of the tunnel as construction nears completion. Here is Usman Jata.
For decades, a proper tarred road remained a distant dream for communities along the Albreda Fas Omar Chaho stretch. Broken surfaces, seasonal flooding, and near impassable conditions were daily challenges, leaving residents cut off from essential services, markets, and economic opportunities. Today, that reality is changing. This once neglected 15.14-kilometer road is undergoing a transformation from a rough background to a vital transport artery. The benefits are already being felt across the region. Alaji Ibrahima Job and Fatum Bob, both residents of Pakale Demba Job, reflected on the difficulties they used to face. We cannot express how happy we are about this road. In the past, we struggled to reach Bara. Vehicles and motorbikes could not even pass through.
We faced severe challenges. Our village was practically inaccessible. To get to Bara, we had to walk to a nearby village just to catch a vehicle.
In Kirdemba Hale, residents Sidi Keita shared a similar experience.
From Kirdemba to Bara,
the fare we used to pay from Kirdemba to Bara was very expensive. Cars would only take us to Fas Omar Chaho, and we had to walk the rest of the way. We are really grateful for the progress. Now tangible signs of progress are evident. According to the latest project updates, 76% of the base course, 11.54 kilometer, is complete, with just over 3.6 kilometer remaining. Bituminous priming is at 68.3%. Moreover, double surface dressing, the final stage, is 44% complete and progressing steadily.
Almost all works are completed, except on section 2 from Albreda to Fas Chao, which is left with only 6 kilometers to be completely sealed. And we are very hopeful that the road furniture works that have just started will be completed on time to hand over the project to the government in the early July to actually decide the actual date of inaugurating that very important project.
With over 76% of the road's base course completed and significant progress on surfacing, hope is Sport Minister Ibrahima Silla says public buses will be provided in these communities to ease movement.
Standing here on the Albreda and Fas Omar Saho stretch, it is clear this is more than just a route. For the people of Nyomi, it is a gateway to education, healthcare, commerce, and more opportunities. Once complete, it will serve as a lifeline for people across the North Bank region. Osman Jata, reporting for QTV News.
Now, China has been Africa's largest trading partner for 15 years, and now that relationship is entering a new chapter. A sweeping tariff removal for 53 African nations is opening access to the world's second largest consumer market. For smaller economies like the Gambia, it could signal a major shift. CGTN's reporters spoke with Gambia's Trade Minister to learn how the new policy is creating fresh opportunities for African exports. We will now go for a short commercial break. When we return, we'll hear about the Lands Minister of critical importance of land ownership rights. We also hear about exciting plans for Gambia to finally get a professional football league. Join us after the break.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taam place bi bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal li fii rek la am bara warga bi neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saasi añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal baara ataaya bi ndax moom la ñëpp taam gis nga sama client bi ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër baara warga bi mooy warga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. "5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket.
Amazing.
With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected, juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
We apologize for that technical error. We'll bring you back that story where China has been Africa's largest trading partner for 15 years, and now that relationship is entering a new chapter. A sweeping tariff removal for 53 African nations is opening access to the world's second largest consumer market. For smaller economies like the Gambia, it could signal a major shift. CGTN's reporters spoke with Gambia's trade minister to learn how the new policy is creating fresh opportunities for African exports.
It positively affects our exports because that is giving us access to arguably the second largest consumer market globally. That gives Gambians an opportunity that we never had before to be able to sell whatever we produce, whether this is in terms of raw materials or it also has to do with value-added products that we can export to the Chinese market.
And this has come at a crucial time, hasn't it? The U.S. has raised tariffs on many African countries. What's that impact on your businesses?
The small nations, the least developed countries like ours, we expect the world to be thinking inclusively. No country can walk alone and get what they want. We should be thinking and talking about coming together in blocks, in trade blocks. You know, all this protectionism, all these things about tariffs, all these retrogressive policies and measures that we think will not live long.
And President Xi Jinping has said that without modernization of China and Africa, there will not be modernization of the world. I mean, together we account for a third of the world's population. What positive role is China-Africa cooperation playing in and really contributing to the world economy?
China is not only providing resources to the African continent. They're sharing, they're transferring skills. Countries like us have a huge infrastructure deficit, particularly trade infrastructure, and the role China-Africa cooperation is playing is to ensure that that deficit is reduced massively, to allow the non-players, the LDCs particularly, to have a platform to participate in global trade. We are encouraging Chinese manufacturers, particularly light manufacturing, to come to Gambia, which is a prime location, access to South America, access to North America. Within 5 hours, you should be in Europe from the Gambia, using the air. The reverse is true, that African producers and value processors, those who are adding value to what they produce, would also have the opportunity to be able to flash those things over to the Chinese consumer market, which is massive, and we hope with our friendship and all these agreements we are signing will make it possible for the two peoples to come together.
Now, at a recent convergence to validate the Gambia's first draft of a national land policy, the Minister of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, Honorable Ahmad N. Keba, emphasized the critical importance of land ownership rights, urging the protection and respect of land titles. Loliam Kamara tells us more.
This landmarked event is a significant step in the Gambia's efforts to overhaul its outdated land management and land tenure system. The draft national land policy aims to establish a clear policy framework, promote land tenure security, and support sustainable national development. During the validation ceremony, Minister Ba highlighted the urgent need for improved land governance, pointing out the increasing number of land-related court cases as a sign of systemic challenges.
We've also realized that over 70–80% of all the court cases in the Gambian courts are all on land matters and land issues. We've also realized that most of the conflict that we are facing right now in the country internally are on land issues. So land is an issue that we have to tackle, we have to handle head on as a government and as a country and as a nation. It is important that we realize that time has come for us to say, yes, we got to do it. And that's why we are today.
He noted that unchecked urban expansion, rapid population growth, and inadequate regulation are key drivers of land disputes. In many instances, the same plot of land is allocated to multiple individuals, leading to lengthy court battles and social unrest. Commenting on the land notice, the minister criticized individuals who fence their plots and leave them unused for years. He stressed that land is a national asset that should be utilized responsibly.
One of the beauties of this document, people grab land. They go and fence it because they have money to buy. They prevent others from having access to that land because they are powerful. They fence this land. Now that will end. If you fence it, you pay tax, heavy tax to the state. You can no longer grab land and think that you will make billions just after 3–5 years on us, which is our land that you access by buying it cheap. This policy now, when fully implemented, you will pay tax, heavy tax, for not using that land.
Minister Ba also called for greater respect for official land documentation, including lease agreements, stating that honoring these documents is fundamental to stability and development.
And that means the courts must reinforce the importance of a lease document as a title of ownership. It is key if we want to move this country forward. We cannot joke with it. And people who offend should be dealt with accordingly. People who abuse it should be dealt with accordingly.
For decades, land reform has been a persistent challenge in the Gambia. With the introduction of this national land policy, the government aims to address these long-standing issues by promoting transparency, justice, and efficiency in land administration. For QTV News, Loliam Kamara.
The president of the General Transport Union of the Gambia, Omar Cisse, this week told QTV that the union is yet to receive a response from the Senegalo-Gambia Secretariat after they lodged a formal complaint to the Secretariat alleging Senegalese authorities' non-compliance with the Mansa Konko agreement. And Sumana Senyasi has the details.
The formal complaint was lodged last month following a series of consultations with authorities in both countries. The union alleges, among other things, persistent and increasing challenges encountered by Gambian transit goods moving from the port of Banjul to their final destinations via Senegalese corridors, further explaining reasons for lodging a formal complaint against their Senegalese counterparts. Omar Cisse, president of the General Transport Union of the Gambia, alleges that transit goods from the Gambia faced numerous challenges in Senegalese territory, including non-tariff barriers, harassment by Senegalese security at almost every checkpoint, unjustified delays and restrictions, as well as illegal taxation and document declaration complications.
The two governments sit together through the two Ministers of Trade, Transport and other stakeholders, IGPs, other securities. We discuss agreement, bring the standard operational guidelines between the two countries. But unfortunately, the Senegal didn't implement their house. That's the funniest part.
They're not fulfilling their part of the agreement.
They agreed, but they don't implement it. So still our Gambian transit goods from Gambian port continue to face the same challenges, even beyond the scope of last year.
Cisse says these practices by their Senegalese counterparts violate the bilateral agreement signed at Mansa Konko between the governments of the Gambia and Senegal in August 2024. While they await a formal response from the Secretariat, they urge the government of the Gambia to urgently engage their Senegalese counterparts through diplomatic and institutional channels to ensure the full implementation of all signed bilateral and international agreements.
This issue, Senegal is doing only Gambia. They are not doing this to Senegal. Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, only Gambia. Why Gambia? That's my question. We keep saying this, Senegal and Gambia better popular Kenmuko Harnyar. Man, go, I didn't believe it. Because what we are facing, Guinea-Bissau is not facing it. Guinea-Conakry is not facing it. Mali is not facing it. We are only why Gambia. So we call ourselves, we are Domindela. We are not Dominde.
Meanwhile, he says the General Transport Union remains fully committed to supporting the government in its efforts to uphold trade and transport rights, adding that they are prepared to collaborate with all relevant stakeholders to ensure the smooth operation of commercial transport and facilitate the free movement of people, goods and services within the ECOWAS sub-region. Answane Sonyase for KTV News.
Coming up next, we have some sports news. The Gambia Football Federation, GFF, held a day-long convergence of football stakeholders to discuss professionalizing of the country's football league to raise the standards of the game and so attract sponsorship and create more opportunities for player development. Our sports reporter Mohamed Gajaga was there and he now reports.
Although football remains by far the country's most popular sport, many players, even the top league, are not professionals. With a view to set the ball rolling to develop Gambian football, the Gambia Football Federation, GFF, with their consultant, on the plan to professionalize the league, engage football's key players, including team owners, representatives of businesses, players, administrators, and the media, to develop a business model to bring about a professional football league. Professor Mustafa Fane is the consultant for the business model to professionalize the league in 2026.
What is important here is about ownership. This is our country. We all love sports. We all watch sports. So I think having this is really good for all of us. It will bring a lot of benefits to the Gambia. The costs are high, but unless and until we strategize, we know where we want to get to. We never get to the destination.
The professionalization of the Gambian League is expected to attract sponsorship, improve talent development, player marketing, and create a decent wage for players, coaches, and provide a return on investment for the sponsorship through TV broadcast of matches and other revenue streams. Lamin Kababajo, president of the Gambia Football Federation, says having a professional league will transform the country's football for the better.
The creation of a professional football league in the country will not only raise the standard of football in the country or accrue financial benefits to investors, players, officials, and by extension the larger football community, but it will undoubtedly complement the government's program of creating more jobs to for a good number of youths.
Several football stakeholders attended the convergence to discuss ways to transform Gambian football by making it an attractive brand. Among those present was Bakary Waibaji, the Minister of Youth and Sports. To have a professional football league, government plays a key role in making it a reality. He gave assurances that government will support the drive to professionalize the league.
On our part, as a ministry and as a government, we do affirm our full commitment to, among other things, push for the establishment of the National Sports Development Fund. This has already been captured in our National Sports Bill that will be tabled before the National Assembly in its next session. Upgrade and build new sports facilities in strategic areas across the country, promote gender equity and professional football.
Football stakeholders such as administrators, former players, and those running clubs welcomed the forum, saying it is good to start the process towards the goal of having a professional league. Amadou Jaite, Secretary General of First Division side BST Galaxy FC, Mamadou Cisse, a former national team player, and Idi Sala, Assistant Head of Recruitment at Portsmouth FC in England, spoke highly of the project.
You can see our players traveling to Senegal to play their professional league. Our players are playing in Gambia here. Some earning is a problem for them. So this is a very, very good initiative.
Yeah, the thing is, if we start to look at what is not available and what is available, then we will still be waiting for such things to happen for the professional league to start going.
I think it's really a good thing it's happening, but it's going to be like a massive jump from amateur to professional because it might be with so many factors that we haven't got so many things to start with, but at the end of the day you've got to start somewhere.
Having a professional football league will require a lot of improvement in football infrastructure, structures of clubs, players' wages, and private sector investment in terms of sponsorship and TV broadcasting. Despite the current realities, it appears something is starting, which could transform the lives of those playing the nation's favorite sport. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
And before we end, here's a recap of tonight's headlines. The Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, Ibrahim Silla, has embarked on a 5-day nationwide road inspection tour beginning in the North Bank region. And among the places visited by the minister along the 15.14-kilometer Albreda to Fas Omar Saho Road, a crucial section of the larger Nyomi Hakalang Road project, residents are witnessing long-awaited progress for decades of poor infrastructure. As China announces a sweeping tariff removal for 53 African nations, Gambia's Trade Minister comments on how the new policy is creating fresh opportunities for African exports, including from the Gambia. At the recent convergence to validate the Gambia's first draft of a national land policy, the Minister of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, Honorable Ahmad N.K. Ba, emphasized the critical importance of land ownership rights. And in some exciting sports news, we heard about exciting plans for the Gambia to finally have a professional football league. That's all for this news bulletin. Join us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Weekend Review with Ade Darami, Alu Sise, and Lamindi Sonko with the sign language translations. Thanks for watching, and our next full bulletin will be on Monday.